Hello, and welcome to The Cup TV, the Currently Unnamed Podcast, where we put the real and the tea in reality. You can always come to us first to quench your thirst. I'm your girl, Lana, your resident evil diva, and I'm here to give the tea, spill the tea, and drink the tea because you know I love me some tea. Her. And I am just drinking on a little bit of water here because hydration is important. And I also have my cup mug, anyhow. And you can get your cup mug at LanaGCreations.etsy.com. And we do ship internationally and domestically. So there are no excuses. See, I like to party with and give you the information at the same time. I'm learning to shorten it up a little bit. So get your cup merch, period. Whew. And we are here. We are back for the last time to talk about Battle Camp, episodes 9 and 10, the finales, episode 9 and the finale of Battle Camp. And I'm excited to wrap this series up. It's been a good series for me to watch. It was easy, it was entertaining. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. So it was very much not too much, not too intense, but just fun, lighthearted enough, and a little bit of strategy thrown in. So I enjoyed it. Had a good time. But we are here talking about it, and we're gonna dive right into it. But before we do, y'all know what to do. Hit the subscribe button on this channel. Yes, yes. Here at the Cup TV, we are on a mission to get 1,000 new subscribers at the end of the year, because a lot of things on YouTube unlocks when you hit 1,000 subscribers, and we want to unlock those things and have a great time with you all. So if you would please, please, please give us 1,000 subscribers. Subscribe to this channel. If you are a fan of competitive reality television, this is the place for you. We're just talking about it, giving our thoughts about it, and letting you know what's happening on all these shows. You might not have time to watch it, but you're interested to know what happened. I'm your girl. I'm gonna tell you, and the rest of the panel. By the way, it's not just me. It's and it's not just about me. It's not just me. It's other people who are joining on all the panels across the network, across the channel, where we're talking about competitive reality television. We're talking about Battle Camp. We got Survivor. We got The Amazing Race. Genius is coming. Destination X is coming. We got a lot of things coming up the horizon and a lot of things wrapping up. So check that out. So also we have interviews with the people on these shows, which if you watch the show Got to Get Out, which premiered on Hulu, if you haven't watched it, you should watch it. It was a very good show. Got to Get Out was such a good show to watch. New show on Hulu. I enjoyed it. We talked about it here on the channel. You can go back and watch it, watch our recaps. All of those will be up. But we also have an interview with one of the contestants on the show, Steve Helen, and he gave us a lot of good information, a lot of juicy tea, a lot of tea, baby, a lot of tea on the show. So if you want to check out that interview, check it out. It will be out on the channel very, very soon after this one. So check it out. And so if you feel like this is the kind of content you are into, subscribe to the channel, follow, hit the likes, do all the things to say you appreciate and support us, because we definitely appreciate and will support you. Um, Also, all of our channels across the network have joined in on this mission. So this is the mission across the entire network, where we are trying to get 1,000 new subscribers by the end of the year. All the links to all the channels will be in the description below. So click on that in the link tree and click on all the channels. If you're a fan of drag or drag race, at the Cup Pod is the place for you. If you're a fan of Eurovision Song Contest, at the Cup ESC is the place for you. And if you're a fan of WWE wrestling, at the Cup Ringside is the place for you. So join us on all of our channels. Help us reach our goals of 1,000 new subscribers by the end of the year. And we appreciate you. Now, if you need to check us out on the go, we have our audio podcast links also in the description below. So check that out. So you will never, never be without the cup. And also, our Patreon is open for you guys. We got a lot of fun things coming your way. We got some exclusive content that only shows in our Patreon. We have early access of shows that will come out on the channel, but later. And then we have some fun behind the scenes things so you can get to know who the Cup family is and who our peeps are. So join us on our Patreon. And that would be great. And of course, if you want to join us on all of our socials at the Cup Pod on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky, that link is down below. So let's get into it. Battle Cap episode 9. We're gonna jump right into what happened. Where we left. I should put myself in the screen. Where we left off was Kyle had a lot of votes and Chase had votes. Kyle's votes all came from the Eagles, all the everybody except Chase because Chase refused to vote for his friend, so he voted for Trey. Trey had votes, Chase had votes. You know, of course, the people who have votes for losing the challenge, those are the things. But we left with the wheel spinning, and we come back, and the wheel has spun. Wait, let me not do this to Trey again. Yes, take that away. Trey should be seen. Should be seen. Um, so as the wheel was spinning, it was spinning, and it landed on Kyle. So Kyle gets eliminated, and Chase is a little upset. He's upset, but Trey's happy because that's who he wanted to go. Because Kyle turned on Chase. I will say, quote unquote, if you're watching, just listening, quote unquote, turned on Trey, but Trey quote unquote turned on Kyle before on in the challenge. All this quotes unquotes because honestly, they were on separate teams anyway. So really, did they actually turn on each other? They had, and did he actually agree to throw the challenge? No, he was just thinking he probably could, but mathematically and logistically, that would make sense. So, it is what it is. But Kyle's gone, Chase is upset, and the Eagles are disappointed with Trey. I mean, not Trey, with Chase, because he went against the group decision to all vote for Kyle, and he voted Trey instead. But whatever. They find out that the individual competition starts now. So the Bears and Eagles are no more. Now it's just individual game, and it was an individual game from this point on. So the Eagles are disappointed with Chase, and he said it was hard for him to vote for his friend. And he was not like Trey, who will vote for his friend. And Trey was like, correction, I did not vote for my friend. I I did not. And he was like, but did you have other people vote for him? He was like, I did, but I never voted for my friend. And I'm like, honestly, let's get it correct. We're mad at Trey for what? For saving himself in a game where you have to save yourself, or nobody said just sit there and get on the wheel just for the sake of friendship. This is not that kind of game. So I was like, why are we mad at Trey? This whole reason for being mad at Trey was so dumb to me. Like from the beginning, like Louis, it wouldn't have mattered because it still could have landed on Louis. Even if Trey wouldn't have talked to Polly and she gave her one vote to Louis. I mean, to Trey. If she put one vote on Trey, it still could have landed on Louis. It was the wheel. Let's stop acting like Trey betrayed Louis. He did not. He just made sure Louis's name was on the board more than his. And the wheel could have still landed on Trey if it wanted to, but the wheel landed on Louis. It is what it is. Get over it. Like, seriously, relax. But also, they mad at Chase or disappointed in Chase because he didn't vote for Kyle. And I'm like, why y'all mad at Chase? Because his one vote did not stop Kyle from going home. His one vote to Trey did not stop what was going to happen. Trey just had 2 votes. Kyle had 7 votes. It was more than likely it was going to land on Kyle anyway. And if Chase would have voted, it would have been 8 votes on Kyle. It still would have landed on Kyle. Like, that's why I'm just like, y'all really need to relax. Like they're getting mad because somebody voted one way, but it's not up to the votes. If it was up to the votes, sure, but it's not up to the votes. It's up to the wheel. So it doesn't matter if it's one person or 5 people voted for this person. They's on the wheel regardless. Trey was going to be on the wheel because Kyle voted for him. He was going to be on the wheel. It could have easily landed on Trey. That's the whole part of this show that I'm like, let's stop acting like, oh, I'm so hurt you betrayed me. I'm so disappointed you hurt me. You could have told us that you were going to vote for, you weren't voting for Kyle because he's your friend. Why? So y'all can all turn on him and vote for him? That's crazy. That, no, no, no. But Chase ended up sleeping alone in the old wolf's cabin, and Trey goes and sleeps in the bear's cabin with QT and Shuby. Um, Whatever. Honestly, whatever. Um, we have an intense breakfast because Trey and Chase are having it out, going back and forth. If y'all haven't watched the TikToks that has come out after the show has aired between everybody who was on the show, hilarious. Because QT has done this scene with Trey and Chase doing the whole like saying the whole monologue. We saw Trey do the whole QT Avery fight. It's been hilarious. And there's some drama going on that is unnecessary, but I'm not even gonna go into all of that. But just go check out the TikToks and all the online drama that's going on with this cast and with these people. It's quite funny and some quite stupid. But I like the fun part of it. I like the fun parts of it. Um but so an intense little conversation between Chase and Trey, and Trace was like, "What you did is nothing like what I did," and Trey was like, "We did the same thing, morally maybe because tried to get out Louis over me, but you're still the same thing." Um, And QC's like, "Why is so intense? Why? Mom, if I voted my own mother out, she wouldn't be this mad at me." And then Chase was like, "Trey did the same thing." And I'm like, "No, he didn't." She's like, "Chase already did that. Trey already did that too." I'm like, "Oh, he didn't vote his mom out. He just beat her at marbles." It happens. Trey, I'm on your side here. I think you did nothing wrong in this situation. In either situation, or Squid Games or this one, you did nothing wrong. So I'm on your side. And your mom is amazing. She's great. I love her. Met her in Orlando. She's wonderful. Wonderful woman. And I'm sure you're a great guy. But anyway, um, after the intensity of breakfast, Trey tries to lighten the mood up at camp, and he gets dressed up by Georgia and Lorenzo, and Trey turns into Tracy or Tracyana or whatever. To me, he looked like Vera DeMilo from In Living Color when Jim Carrey was, "I'm Vera DeMilo." Now I'm showing my age because a lot of y'all probably don't even remember In Living Color, or that character that Jim Carrey played as Vera DeMilo. If you do, let me know in the comments so I don't feel as old. That would appreciate it. But I thought it was fun. It was funny. It was cute. Just trying to lighten the mood. It was fun. Um, but all of that was quickly stopped because it's time to get ready for the challenge, which was going to happen that night, which was a fire making challenge. And I was like, okay, Survivor, not a fire making challenge, but a fire making challenge with kayaks. So what they all had to do was uh, get in your kayak, paddle out to three different buoys, and each buoy had contained things to help make the fire in these bags. The closest buoy had flint and steel. So, Survivor fans, you know how to make fire with the flint. And so that was the closest buoy. The next closest buoy had matches in it. So you can make it with matches and get the fire started that way. A little bit easier than the flint, but you had to go out further to get it. And then the furthest buoy away had a fire making kit, like a fire. I wasn't like a flamethrower or a fire starter. It was easy. It was like a lighter. It was so much easier, but it was the easiest to make the fire. But you had to go the farthest out to get it. And so right away, when the challenge starts, we see during the hullabaloo of everybody trying to get their kayak in the water and get situated and go, Nick's oar falls off on the beach. So he doesn't have his oar. So he gets in the kayak and out in the water and realizes he doesn't have his oar. He thinks, oh crap, it sank. And so he just lays on the board and starts paddling like it's a surfboard. And when life throws you lemons, you make lemonade. So he paddles out, but now he's exerting a lot of strength and energy. Well, a lot of energy. He's getting rid of a lot of energy paddling out to the buoy. So his first goal was to just go to try to get the matches. But he realizes without his paddle, there's no way he's going to get that far and back without being dog tired. So he decided to go for the matches. I mean, for the flint because it was the closest. The people who got the flint, um, so the people who ended up getting the flint and the steel were Trey, Nick, Shuby, and QT. Because QT was just last because she couldn't even paddle the kayak. Um, Shuby knew that's what he was going for. Nick eventually had to go for that, and Trey said he was going to go for that. The people who went and got the matches were Lorenzo and Georgia, and then the fire starter kit was Chase and Polly. Um, and so we see the people who got the flint get back first. Besides QT, she got back last. Um, but Trey, Nick, and Shu gets back first, and they're starting with the flint. And they're starting with the flint, getting sparks, no catching, nothing. It's catching on it. Um, and then Georgia and Lorenzo get back with the matches. They start the fire, and the fire's starting, but it's still taking a long time to build and nurture the fire and get it up. And by that time, Chase and Polly come back with their fire starting kit. And it's so quick. They start their fire so quickly, and their blazes are blazing. Now, the Flint people got nothing. They couldn't even get a spark to start. But we see the fire started, and the winner was chosen by if your fire was high enough to break a rope and set off your um, smoke bomb or smoke torch or whatever. It was very reminiscent of Survivor, the fire making challenge at the final four. So it was definitely that. And once we saw the winners, eventually was Chase and Polly with their fire starter kit, and Lorenzo with the matches. So those were the three winners, and their names will not be on the board for now. But they also find out that there is a double elimination. So two people are going to go home. And we see the three of them are going to go to set up the punishment and decide who's going to do the punishment. The punishment is called just hold on, and you got to just hold on to a rope until for the longest time. And so Trey was an obvious choice for them. Nobody was going to not pick Trey, even though Trey tried to make sure that they didn't pick him and hope he had conversations hoping that they wouldn't pick him. But Lorenzo and Chase was like, obviously it's Trey. So Trey had to go. Then they did Shuby because they said Shuby did one punishment and it was an easy one. So let's give it to him. And then Nick because he's strong. And so that was what happened. They picked those three, and they held on to the rope, and the winner was Trey. Trey won the punishment, so he got his name off the wheel one more time. Um, so then, after the punishment, people are still trying to figure out who they're going to vote for. We see conversations happening with Shuby, Nick, and QT because all of these are circle people. And we find out that Polly, Lorenzo, and Georgia are like, look, Nick is not what our ego. He's never been our ego. So he can go, but we have a order of which we want to get people out. So the hit list was Trey, Nick, and then Chase. That was who they wanted out in that order. Um, we see Trey and Chase having a heart to heart conversation, trying to, bury the hatchet. Trey was like, if we don't vote for each other, that will be one less name and people won't see that coming, blah, blah, blah. Chase is like, yeah, I think, we got off on the wrong foot. Maybe, we can try to figure this out. Um, so then we go to votes, and the votes happen. And then after the votes, we go to the wheel. The wheel takes place, the wheel's going on. And Shuby has 2 votes against him, 1 for losing the challenge and 1 for losing the punishment. QT has 1 vote for losing the challenge. Georgia has 1 vote for losing the challenge. Chase has 1 vote, and that vote came from Shuby. Polly has 0 votes, so she is automatically into the finale. Nick has 4 votes, which came from uh, QT. No, 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 no. It came from 1 for losing the challenge, 1 for punishment, um, Trey, and Polly. Yeah, those are the folks. So yeah, 2 votes from Trey and Polly. Lorenzo has 0 votes, so he's automatically into the finale, which leaves Trey, who has a vote for losing the punishment and 5 votes. QT, Nick, Lorenzo, Chase, and Georgia. They all vote for Trey. Trey is like flabbergasted. He's like, I can't. He thought he would have 1 less vote with Chase voting for Nick. Um, but Chase decided not to vote for Nick, and he voted for Trey. So we see and remember, this still is a double elimination. And so we see the wheel is spinning, the wheel is spinning, the wheel is spinning for the first person eliminated, and it is Nick. Nick is eliminated. And that takes us to episode 10 because we come back because the wheel is still spinning. The wheel has to spin again. And the person who is the second casualty of the double elimination is Trey. And, I'm a little sad. I really wanted Trey to get to the finals. I thought he deserved it. He played the hardest, but that's just how the wheel spins. And that's just how it happens. So Trey is gone, and everybody's happy because that was the best scenario that they wanted. Like, literally, Lorenzo and Georgia and Polly said they wanted Nick and Trey to go and then Chase to be next. Like, that was the order, and that was what happened. So they got what they wanted, and it was good for them. Good for them. But now the game is shifting again because the finals is now you want to see your name on the wheel. They're going to have 2 challenges and 2 punishments to determine who gets their name on the wheel. Um, and so the first punishments are set out. And the punishments are we are going back to what we started with in this challenge. We're revisiting punishments, revisiting some punishments. So um the punishments are full throttle and submerged. And so we see the submerged challenge first, and a couple of people has done it before. George and Lorenzo has done submerged before. They both beat Irina doing it. So They were used to the submerge, but the winners of the submerge, I'm just gonna say that now. The winners of the submerge were Chase, Georgia, and Lorenzo. So the three winners of those three, and so they all get their name on the board once. And then it was the full throttle challenge, and we saw this before with Gabby, Bree, and Polly. So this is Polly's second time doing the full throttle challenge. Um, but this time the winners were Chase, Subi, and Georgia. So everybody was happy about, well, so Chase is now on the board twice. Georgia is now on the board twice, and Shuby gets his first time on the board for the winners board. So we have two more challenges to go to get your name on the board. Um, the first challenge is hang tight, where you have to. We've seen this challenge where you hang on hold on to the two poles at the top, and you're standing on the bottom, and the poles on the bottom will eventually be released, and they just have to hang there. And so whoever hangs there the longest wins. Now, Polly apparently hurt her wrist in the kayaking challenge, so she can't grip anything. So therefore, she sat out of the hang tight challenge because she didn't want to hurt her hand any further, her wrist any further. So she sits out. Um, but the two winners from the hang tight challenge was Lorenzo and Georgia. So Georgia now has her name on the board three times. Lorenzo has his name on the board two times, and Chase has his name on the board two times. And then the last challenge is called the final drop, where there are one drop, two safe zones. And game is about bluffing or trying to make people believe you have the safe, you have, or to get people to go where you want to go. So it's pretty much about lying and bluffing. And so we see Shu, Lorenzo, and Polly in the first group. And Shuby shoots first, and he picks his plank, and he gets to walk down and look and see what his plank said, and he can decide if he's going to tell the truth or is he going to lie. So he picks the drop plank, and he tells Lorenzo and Polly that this is the drop one. Tells the truth. And Lorenzo doesn't believe him. He was like, "Look, Shuby, are you lying to me?" She was like, "Why? Why would I be lying to you? No, this is not the one you want." And Lorenzo was like, "Mm, I don't know. I don't think so. I'm gonna take Shuby's." And she was like, "Okay, well," and so he's not trying to tell you. And so Lorenzo puts him in the middle one, which is the safe zone. And so Lorenzo gets to go look and see drop. And he's like, I should have listened to you. He was like, "I told you the truth." She was like, "I told you." And Lorenzo's like, "It's my fault. I didn't believe you. It is what it is." And so he lets Polly have these other safe zone because she's not on the board yet, and this is the way to get on the board. So Polly and Shuby win their group, and so Polly's on the board for the first time. Shuby's on the board for the second time, so Shuby has two spots on the board. And then we have QT, Chase, and Georgia. So QT goes first, and she picks one, and it is, I think it was safe. Yeah, it was safe. And so she tells Georgia that this one was safe, but you need to pick that one. She said, "But you need to pick that one. You need to pick that one." And so Georgia was like, well, she told she's in the drop. She's like, "I'm in the drop. You need to pick that one." And so Georgia like, if you're in the drop, why do I need to pick that one? It could be either one if you're in the drop, right? And so Georgia, she's like, "Georgia, you need to pick that one." Because Georgia's definitely afraid of heights and falling and all of that stuff, so she didn't wanna drop, and so QT was trying to help her, but she also didn't want her to take hers. and she wanted Chase to be the one to drop. Um, and so Georgia ends up taking QT's and puts QT in the other one, which is also safe. And so she looks and sees, but Georgia and Chase also have a relationship outside of, the game. And so she doesn't want to lie to Chase, but she doesn't want to drop. And so at first she tries to lie and tell him to take that one's safe. QT has to drop. He doesn't believe her. And so he's like, okay, well, if I take yours and put you over there, will you be okay? And she's like, no, oh my God, Chase, don't do it, don't do it. So she's pleading. Chase is like, ah. And he's like, I don't know. I'm not believing that. And so he was like, I'm going to take yours and put you over there. And so she's like freaking out because she knows that's the drop zone. And she's like, no, no. But she refuses to get on there and because she didn't want to drop. So she just ended up losing, period. And so QT and Chase wins that heat. So QT finally gets her name on the board. Chase gets his name on the board for the third time. And that's where we are until we get to the votes. And you can just see how this is playing out because QT and Shuby have been together since day one. Lorenzo and Georgia have been together since day one. Chase and Polly both came into the game late. Um, and they knew that everybody else was voting for their person. So they figured we should just vote for each other as well. And that's what happened. So Chase ended up getting 4 spots because Polly voted for him. And so that made his 4th spot on the board. Shu gets 3 spots because QT voted for him. And so that gives him 3. Lorenzo gets 3 spots because Georgia voted for him. 3 spots for the um QT gets 2 spots because Shuby voted for her. Polly gets 2 spots because Chase voted for her. And Georgia gets 3 spots because Lorenzo voted for her. So all of these are happening. All those get their vote. So everybody's on the board at least twice. And eventually the wheel is spun for the final time. I thought they were going to bring back all the other campers to come in and watch the finale and celebrate with them and everything, but they didn't. They just sent them all on home. Um, but they spin the wheel for the last and final time, and you want the wheel to land on your name this time. This is what you want. And the wheel's spinning, the wheel's spinning, and the wheel lands on Lorenzo. And I'll be honest, I was happy for Lorenzo. I was happy for Lorenzo because Lorenzo played a very different game than he gave us in Squid Games. And I was like, "Oh, okay, different." Still a little shady because I don't think he can help being a little shady. But it was a good game. It was a good game for Lorenzo. But I honestly was a little like, okay. I wasn't like, "Oh, this person deserves." He deserved, but I wasn't like living for the moment. And I don't think it has anything to do with Lorenzo. I think it really has to do with the spinning of the wheel. I would have rather they spun it for the like if you spin it, like I don't know, eliminate the people and the last person on the wheels standing wins. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like we go spin it until it's 2 people left on the board. And when there's 2 people left on the board, then that's the spin for the win. Um, and oh yeah, just keep spinning until there's only one person's name on the board. So I don't know. I feel like that would have been more exciting, and then than the one spin win thing. But happy for Lorenzo. He did a great job. He kept to himself. He won what he needed. He was on a good. I mean, literally, if you were on the Eagles team, you were just on a stronger team towards the end. Towards the end game, and he did good. Him and Georgia was so fun to watch together. I enjoyed their relationship, their friendship. It was good. Um, I think everybody was fun. I think this whole cast was a fun cast of people. Some people more than others. Honestly, I think this show was good. I enjoyed it. I like I said, it was an easy watch. It wasn't anything too intense. It wasn't, wasn't boring, so I was entertained. I thought it was a good watch, and I hope they come back with the season 2 with a few tweaks of how to make it, a little bit more interesting, a little bit more, competitive, but other than that, I thought this was a good game. It was fun, it was cute. I enjoyed it. I would love to know what you all thought about it. Let me know in the comments below what you thought about Battle Camp. If you liked it, if you didn't, let me know. I want to hear everything. Did you agree with the way Trey was treated? Did you not agree with it? Were you team Trey, team everybody else? Were you team QT, team Avery? Like, let me know. I would love, love, love to hear what you all think. But that's it for now. I got nothing else. I got nothing else. Battle Camp is a wrap. It was good. I enjoyed it. I would love to hear from you. So follow all of the channels, especially this channel. Hit the subscribe button to this channel. We are trying to get 1,000 new subscribers at the end of the year, but that also goes across all 4 channels. So go subscribe to all of our channels and give us that 1,000 new subscribers by the end of the year. That would be amazing. Um, Follow our audio podcast link just on the go. Join our Patreon where we got a lot of fun things headed your way. Get your merch at lanajcreations.etsy.com. Follow all of our uh, socials at The Cup Pod on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky. You can follow me as well on all those platforms. My Instagram is right there. All the other ones is down there for all the other platforms. Join us. Let us know. Hit us up and let us know what you thought about the coverage and all the things. And I guess that's it. So cheers, y'all. Battle Camp out.